Hey everyone, how's it going? Here, not with the Facebook Live, but a recorded video today on a Friday. And that's because it's kind of a special Friday for me. I am in Vermont for the Spartan Beast that will be happening tomorrow. So this is a video for all my athletes out there. I figured I'd talk a little bit about my fueling strategy for tomorrow. So for those of you not familiar, the Beast is generally Beast distance race is generally around anywhere between 13 to 15 miles, and has around 30 obstacles. And in the case where it's on a mountain, like it is here in Vermont, there's generally a lot of elevation gains. So the stats that we've been given tomorrow is around 13 miles, close to 7,000 feet of elevation gain, and 30 plus obstacles to complete. So I'm anticipating that I will be out there for around 4 hours or so. So this is definitely a situation where I will be fueling out on the course. Generally, my recommendation is, depending on the person, if you're going to go above 2 hours, you can start to think about fueling. If you're going to be out there for 3 hours, you should definitely be thinking about fueling, and making that decision and practicing that ahead of time. Some people can do it fasted, but in my opinion, without any fuel out there, maybe not fasted, but without any fuel out on the course, but in my opinion, it's certainly warranted and probably beneficial if you're concerned about performance during these races, so of this length. So I just want to talk a little bit about my fueling strategy to give you guys some insight. So I'm going to start with what I'm bringing out there on the course. So I have my Salomon vest here. It's the 12 Advanced Skin 3, I believe it's called. I really like this vest from Salomon. It has two front pouches for water. You can also put a hydration pack in the back if you want to, if you need it. I won't need it for this race because there'll be water out in the course as well. It has a nice zipper pocket back here for anything else that you might want to put back there. There's pockets on the side, there's pockets in the front, so a lot of storage if you're going to be out there for a long time and need some supplies. So it's a really good vest. It's very durable. I've gone through a bunch of races with this thing, no issues. The only issue I actually have with it is that sometimes these clips that clip in front of your chest, they come undone on the obstacles sometimes, but other than that, that's not really a fault of the vest. I don't think. It's more just a hazard of going over obstacles and stuff like that. But other than that, it's really good vest. I really like it. So I'm going to take 2 water flasks out there with me, and they look like this. And I actually have the fuel that I'm going to talk about already in the flask. I just have to put the water in it at this point. So what's in these 2 flasks? So in these 2 flasks, I have a carbohydrate source, and my favorite carbohydrate source is this Equip Clean Carbs. I don't get sponsored by any of this stuff. That I'm not getting a kickback or anything like that, so I'm not making any money out of this. This is just personal preference. This is what I like to use. This Equip Clean Carbs. It's basically just sweet potato, vanilla, and stevia. It tastes really good. I really like it. So I do one scoop of that in each flask. And that's about 100 calories. Obviously it's sweet potatoes, so the only thing really in here is carbohydrates, and about 24 grams of carbs in a scoop. So I'll have 1 scoop of that in a flask, and then the next thing I will do is have some MCT oil powder. This is a nice fat source. MCTs are very easy to digest usually. Especially the powder form. Some people can have issues with the oil, the liquid form. It gives them GI distress, but generally people, when they take it in a powder form, there's generally very little GI distress in there. So I have a tablespoon and a half of this Perfect Keto vanilla MCT oil powder in each flask. And that's about, again, MCT oils are just fats. So This has about 70 calories in a tablespoon, and about 7 grams of fat. So it's, roughly another 100 calories, another 10, 11, 12 grams of fat in there. So that I add that in each flask too. And then the final thing are these perfect aminos. Now, perfect aminos are essential amino acids, and generally I don't recommend people supplement with amino acids, whether they're essential or branched chain amino acids or whatever, because you can get all that stuff as long as you're eating enough protein in meat. So yeah, I don't generally use this, not like an everyday thing. It's only a race time thing generally, just to make sure that my body's getting the amino acids it needs while it's out there for 4 hours, and not potentially breaking down any of my muscle or minimizing that as much as I possibly can. So just 1 scoop of that in each flask. Again, this is the cool lime flavor, and it's about 5 grams of protein in that. So just about, what is that, 5 times 4 grams is about 20 calories. So not a real lot, but just 1 scoop of that in each flask too. Now, out in the course, I'll have these flasks, and I don't set timers as far as eating or anything like that, or drinking from them. I just drink when thirsty, so every time I'm thirsty, I take a sip and I get some fuel along with that. I won't drink both of these. I probably wouldn't even drink a whole one if I was out there with just one. But it's essentially just to trickle in that fuel as I'm going along. Just give it a little shake. Sometimes it clumps up at the bottom, so I just give it a little shake and take a sip out of it as I'm going along. So I'm getting some hydration, I'm getting and some fuel at the same time as I'm going along. Sometimes I get sick of liquid fuels, and so I always carry some solid fuel options with me too. And this time I have a couple of things in my bag that I'm going to take with me. My overall favorite fuel source, solid, not so solid, but it's not mixed in a water bottle, is a nut butter packet. These are, this case, an RX bar, RX nut butter. This is the honey cinnamon peanut butter one. These taste super good, and they have a nice mix of macronutrients because they have an egg white in them, peanuts obviously, and a half a date. So it's a nice mix of macros. You're not just getting all fat and a little bit of protein like you would in a normal straight nut butter. Not that there's anything wrong with that. You can do that if you want. But I like the mix of macros. This tastes super good. It's very easy going down. It's not. I find that these RX bar nut butters are also not so like sticky that it sticks to the roof of your mouth like most nut butters would. In the past, I've used Justin's almond butter. They're pretty good too, but this is my new favorite, and I really like these. So I'll probably suck down one of these during the race. And then I have a couple of these Muir packets. These are actually kind of my new favorite fuel. I have a couple of different ones. I won't use all this at all. I'm not sure. Depending on how I feel, I might take the nut butter packet. I might just stick with these. It depends. But anyways, I have a couple different ones just for different options depending on how I feel. There's some like this one here is a cacao almond, and this is they're slow burning, so they have slow burning and fast burning. So if you want something that's more of you're on a longer race and you want a slow burning fuel, they have different types, which is really cool. So I have a mixture of both slow and fast burning depending on where I am in the race and what I'm going to use it for. They also have non-caffeinated and caffeinated versions. So the caffeine comes from yerba mate extract. And these are all natural, paleo, gluten-free, vegan, non-GMO fuels. And they have a bunch of different flavors. Cacao almond's pretty good. I actually haven't tried these other ones, the passion fruit, pineapple, banana, or the blueberry bergamot. Never tried those two. So that makes me a little nervous trying it for the first time when I'm out there. But I think maybe if I'm at the end of the race and I'm really pushing at the end, I might throw in one of these fast burning fuels, more quicker carbohydrates, just to get that last push in the end. That's my plan anyways. And sometimes I really do like to have something solid to chew on, so I always have an RX bar with me. My favorite are the maple sea salt. These are the ones I might take a bite out of. Definitely not going to eat all this at all. This is just here depending on how I feel. Again, I'm going to be out there for a long time, so you never know how you're going to feel, and I don't find it being a hindrance to have a couple different options out there if you're feeling different ways, right? So that's basically my fueling strategy. I outline a lot of this stuff in a blog post on my blog. Like I said, I'm not going to eat all this. I'm not going to try to consume all this in 4 hours. You know, the fuel in my flask are just to sip on and trickle in some stuff as I go. And then the bars and the nut butter and the Muir packets, they're all for just as I feel like I need something going along. Yeah, that's about it. Feel free to leave any questions. Happy to help out. Like to hear your fueling strategies if you have any. And with that, I'll sign off for now, and maybe I'll do a short video of my dinner that I'm going to have in about a little bit, my pre-race dinner. So with that, I'll talk to you in a bit.